make any difference? Joining me now is Congressman Howard Berman, ranking member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Mr. Berman, what do you think will happen? Does it make any difference, really, whether we say it's NATO or whether the Americans were involved? I mean, on the ground, militarily and politically, what difference does it really make?
Well, I think it is the transition that the President talked about, where our role diminishes somewhat. We're still very central in the planning, but other countries pick up some of our responsibilities in terms of implementing this operation. So I think that's the key. That's the key consequence of this decision.
I mean, just looking at the way this has all been playing out, it seems to me that America is heavily involved, but doesn't really want anyone to know that, which seems to be a rather pointless exercise in terms of the PR here, isn't it?
Well, no one is pretending that America is not involved. The announcement of the whole strategy indicated that we'd be providing capabilities that we are uniquely qualified to provide. But as the days go by, more and more sorties will be carried out by air forces of other countries. More operations will be taken over. Our role will become somewhat diminished. Still engaged, still involved, obviously helping to coordinate, but I think that's the transition we're watching.
It's a very, very unusual position for American military to find itself in here. No one, talking to all the generals in the last few days, has really been clear what the mission is to start. We now hear it's costing America $1 billion on these airstrikes, which the country can really hardly afford. I mean, isn't it time for some real clarity and, dare I say it, leadership here?
Well, I have to disagree with you there. I think the mission is quite clear, and what the President's doing is both right and smart. The mission is to stop a human catastrophe, a massacre by Gaddafi against his own people, to avoid the destabilizing impacts of what Gaddafi's doing on the neighbors, Egypt and Tunisia, and to send a message, particularly in that critical region where we have so many national security interests, that there is a point by which the international community and the United States will say there's only so far you can go before you risk this kind of consequence.
But is that the message that's being sent? I mean, if you're Colonel Gaddafi and you see the Americans not retreating, but certainly ceding leadership of this operation to NATO, having sort of dipped their toes into this, you're not really seeing a massive commitment, are you? So why should you be overly concerned?
Well, we're concerned, and we are involved to stop a massacre. If we had not acted, how many tens of thousands of people in eastern Libya would have been destroyed if we were not working and murdered? If we were not working to degrade Gaddafi's military capabilities, as we are doing through the air, and as a part of a coalition, that massacre would have continued and will continue in many of the areas in western Libya. I think this is a pretty clear and important mission that is not only humanitarian in nature, but involves some important security concerns in a critical region.
Howard Berman, thank you very much. The UN says there's no